A humanoid robot just closed a live electrical circuit breaker at a real Chinese power plant. No human hands involved. A humanoid robot just closed a live electrical circuit breaker at a real Chinese power plant. No human hands, no safety net, no demo stage. That's where I want to start, because it completely reframes what I thought we knew about where humanoid robots actually are right now. This week, 3 separate institutions all released footage of the Unitree G1 doing things that, honestly, I didn't expect to see for another 2 or 3 years. Peking University showed their G1 navigating a brutal set of uneven stone steps, the kind of irregular, crumbling staircase that would trip up most humans, with the robot's lower body balance system working so hard that after it reached the top, the leg motors were visibly trembling from the effort. Tsinghua University released a cleaner demo of fully autonomous stair ascent and descent, no remote guidance. And then China Huadian, a state-owned power utility, put their G1 to work operating electrical switchgear in what appears to be a live substation environment. I'd argue this single week produced more credible real-world humanoid robot evidence than the entire previous year of Western press releases. And I think the Western robotics community is genuinely underestimating how fast this is moving. Let's talk about the voice-driven motion demo, because this is the one that went viral outside China and had Western commenters genuinely asking if they were watching a sci-fi film. Unitree released footage, shot in a single continuous take with live audio, no post-production trickery, of a G1 receiving spoken verbal commands and translating them into freeform body movements in real time. Not pre-programmed gestures triggered by a keyword. Actual novel motion generated on the fly from natural language instructions. Now, I want to be careful here because I haven't seen the full technical paper behind this, and I'm genuinely uncertain whether the language model is running on board or being processed remotely. That distinction matters enormously for real deployment. If it needs a cloud connection with low latency, that's a very different product from one that runs locally. I've been wrong before about assuming demos represent full on-device capability. I overstated Xpeng's early ADAS autonomy claims back in 2022 and had to walk that back. But here's what I think is significant regardless. The motion quality is fluid enough that the gap between this and Boston Dynamics Atlas, which costs somewhere in the range of hundreds of thousands of dollars per unit, is closing visibly. The G1 is priced around $90,000 at launch. That's still expensive, but it's a completely different commercial conversation. I'd argue the voice interface is less about the AI being impressive and more about making the robot accessible to workers who are not engineers. The Peking University stair demo is the one that personally got me the most excited, and also the most honest about where the limits are. The steps they chose were not a clean concrete staircase. They were irregular stone blocks, uneven heights, rough surfaces. The kind of terrain that exposes every weakness in a robot's balance algorithm. And the G1 made it through. But here's the detail that tells the real story. When it reached the top, the leg motors were shaking. Visibly. The footage shows the joints trembling from thermal and mechanical stress. I think that's actually more impressive than a clean demo would have been. It means the system was operating near its physical limits and still succeeded. It also tells you exactly what needs to improve before this is a daily industrial tool. Thermal management, motor endurance, and probably gate efficiency, so the robot isn't burning maximum torque on every single step. Compare this to what Hyundai's Boston Dynamics has been showing with Atlas. Atlas does parkour. It looks incredible, but Atlas is not operating in a power substation this week. The Unitree G1 is. I think there's a real argument that optimizing for rugged reliability in boring industrial environments is actually the harder and more valuable engineering problem, even if it makes for less exciting YouTube thumbnails. Tsinghua's autonomous version of the same challenge, ascending and descending without any remote input, shows the perception and planning stack is genuinely there. The robot is reading the environment, not just following a script. So where does this leave us? Here's my honest take. Unitree is doing something that Tesla Optimus and Figure AI have not yet demonstrated publicly. They are putting their robot into actual operational environments with actual consequences. A power substation is not a warehouse demo. Electrical switchgear carries real risk. The fact that China Huadian, a serious state-owned utility, is willing to deploy this tells me their internal testing gave them enough confidence to move. That's a signal I take seriously. I think the next 6 months are going to determine whether Unitree can cross from impressive prototype to scalable product. The questions I'm watching: can the G1 operate a full shift without motor fatigue? Does the voice control work in noisy industrial environments? And critically, what does the maintenance cost look like? A $90,000 robot that needs its actuators replaced every 3 months is not a business case. What I'm most confident about is this: the gap between Chinese humanoid robotics and the Western field, which everyone assumed was years wide, is either already closed or very close to it. And unlike the EV race, where Western brands had years of warning, I don't think the robotics industry has fully processed that yet. If you disagree with my read on the industrial deployment story, or if you think Boston Dynamics is still clearly ahead in ways I'm missing, I genuinely want to hear it. Drop it in the comments. And if you're new here, we cover Chinese technology and new energy vehicles every week with actual numbers and actual opinions. Subscribe if that sounds useful. If you think Boston Dynamics is still clearly ahead, or that I'm overhyping this, tell me exactly why in the comments. And subscribe if you want the next update the moment it drops.